Please welcome Guesty, Chief Operating Officer, Raviv Schwarz.
Hi, everyone. Super happy to be here and talk about bridging the gap, how tech can and should improve the human experience. My name is Raviv Schwarz, and I'm the COO of Guesty. For those of you not familiar with Guesty, we're not a channel manager, like Vanessa said. We're a property management platform or system that was really born out of the need to professionalize the short-term rental industry. What we do with our technology is enable property managers to automate and streamline their operations across the board. Sorry. Thought I was missing something. So just a few words about us. We're 300 employees to date, around 11 offices worldwide. We have customers in over 80 countries, and we've raised $60 million to date. And I'll stop talking about Guesty and start talking about the industry. So short-term rentals in terms of total addressable market accounted to nearly $170 billion in 2018. That's a third of the hotel total addressable market, and it's growing at a faster pace. I also want you to have a look at adjacent markets that are relevant for our discussions. Apart hotels had over $4 billion in booking in the US alone, and classic corporate housing had over $10 billion in booking worldwide. Why do these markets matter? Because our guests are changing as well. If you think of the millennials that are soon to become the largest part of the consumer population, they are not willing to commit long-term. Not only are they not purchasing apartments, they don't even want to commit to a long-term lease. They prefer to have freedom and flexibility. They want to focus on experiences, which made mid-term solutions be very popular with them, creating unique hospitality solutions like living as a service. We also see the corporate traveler changing. They're younger, more dynamic. They're not willing to settle for a gray hotel room. All this is leading to the creation of a new breed of property managers, new giants that were here with us on stage this morning and are going to continue and talk with us later, that really focus on a differentiated guest experience. We have seen that evolution at Guesty throughout our 6 years of existence. Our customers are changing. It's not a one-size-fits-all anymore. It's not just managing individual apartments across a city. You're managing across cities, countries, states. You have individual apartments and you have entire buildings. You have short-term, mid-term, and long-term. You have apart hotels that are closer to the Marriott than to short-term rentals, and you have classic short-term rentals. We call these customers of ours the hybrid property manager. The hybrid property manager has even more challenges than the classic property manager because they need to handle hotel channels and short-term rental channels. They need to handle different types of customer personas, and they need to handle different business models. All that requires technology, of course. And I want to ask you all a question. How many of you have booked a short-term stay before? Quite a lot. Now, when considering the short-term stay you're about to book, how many of you have honestly considered the property manager's tech stack? No one? Not even Sandra? I don't either. When I book a short-term stay, I first and foremost focus on the space. I focus on the comfort, on the design, on the location. I also focus on the guest experience throughout my journey as a customer, from booking to stay to post-stay. And sometimes I would also focus on the affinity of the brand because, as heard here before, brand stands for consistency, for a service level I can expect. So how do we bridge that gap? You need to use so much technology on the one hand, but you really need to focus on the space and the experience on the other hand. And moreover, the rise of this technology and industry has spurred hundreds, if not over 1,000 different tech solutions out there, from channel management to task management to even geo-specific solutions like authority reporting in Spain. That's something our customers need. To smart home automation, to noise monitoring. There are hundreds of tools that property managers need to connect to, and it's just impossible to do it by yourself. You must have a platform that allows you to aggregate and consolidate everything together. And Vanessa mentioned Salesforce, which is the perfect example. We are creating the Salesforce of our industry. We are creating one location where everything plugs in. Not only do property managers have a lot of work to do, they have everything a hotel needs to do. They also have to deal with the fact that the properties are dispersed. They also need to do it in a more efficient manner. Hotels on average have 0.5 to 2 people per hotel room. Property managers have about 1/10 of that because they don't have feet off the ground. They have to focus on productivity. They have to focus on efficiency. If you're a hybrid property manager, it's even worse because you have to connect to the short-term rental channels and also to the hotel channels. You have to manage different customers that have needs of short-term stays, mid-term stays, and sometimes long-term stays. You have to be a short-term rental manager and an apart hotel manager, making your lives even more difficult. I'm just going to go through, in a nutshell, a few tools that help you with productivity as a property manager. So one thing that is a must-have in my mind is having a unified inbox. You can start hopping from platform to platform with Airbnb messaging, emails, text messages, booking.com messaging. You must funnel everything into a single inbox that connects to your specific reservations and your calendars. Otherwise, you're wasting hundreds of hours a month. You can't be managing multiple calendars. You must have one calendar to use it all, to have all the channel reservations in one place and enable you to optimize occupancy. And of course, automation is key. I've listed here just a few of the automation tools available. If it's triggered check-in and check-out, if it's doing the reviews process automatically, if it's task management, etc. I believe we're only starting to see the advantages of automation. With the rise of data, we'll see more and more automation tools out there. We'll be able to be smarter and have better data-driven decisions that will drive automation even further. And specifically on automation, I want to mention AI and the future of it in guest experience. I know there's some reluctancy when it comes to chatbots, but we truly believe that chatbots will cover in a couple of years up to 70% of guest communications. And that's a lot. You can't get to 100%, but think if you can save 2/3 of your costs on guest communications. And I don't only think we'll save time, we'll also have a better user experience. Because as you train your bots and have more information and more communications out there, you can actually get to a better than human experience. The bots' answers eventually will be more accurate than our staff answers. They will not have a human error factor. At Guesty, we serve guest communications for a lot of our customers, so are relying on millions of guest interactions to train our bots, and we believe that we can get there very soon. This year for up to 30%, and next year for hopefully up to 70%. So as I mentioned before, property management software is not enough anymore. We don't even know what it means. Property management software means 100 different things. What you do need is a platform that you can plug everything into, that you can rely on. And on top of that, you should pick and choose the right vendors like Rentals United, like other solutions out there that complement your solution. You don't have to build all that from scratch. It just doesn't make sense to you. Does that mean that as a property manager, you don't need to develop tech? That's not what I'm saying. You need to develop tech on top of your platform where it means something to you. You need to focus on guest centricity. And customer centricity has been a motto of many companies, from Amazon to Apple to Zappos, you name it. In our industry, we call it guest centricity. it means that your guest comes first, and you have to do everything, your development, your business strategy, with your guest in mind. So how does that translate into our industry and into what you can choose to develop? So first of all, focus on what really matters to the guest. Remember, they chose you over a hotel. Why did they do that? Is it because they're a family with young children that needs a kitchen? Is it because they're a group of friends? Is it because they're a corporate traveler that needs to stay for 30 days? Those reasons will result in a different guest experience they're looking for. The more you can segment your customers, the more you can build tailored experiences to the need, the better customer centricity you get to. The more personalized you get with your guests, the more guest interactions you get. The more sticky features you have on your website, for example, on your app, will bring more guest engagement and will result in a higher level of retention, a higher level of repeat guests. On top of developing all that, there are apps out there in the marketplace that you can connect to and enhance specifically guest experience. An example of that is Cool Cousin, that allows you to give a tailored guided local tour to your visitors. Wishbox allows you to upsell local experiences as well as additional upsells such as breakfast or drive to the airport. And of course, smart automation really helps smoothen the check-in, check-out process. So overall, it's about knowing how to marry your human touch with your tech. It's about knowing when to build your own tech stack and when to focus on the generic solutions that are available out there. Because I'm a SaaS company and I use Salesforce, and I would never consider building Salesforce myself for my business, right? No one would. Because they do what they do best, and 90% of the case, it will suit my needs. And if it will not suit my needs, I will build customized solutions on top of that. So just to recap, it's really about focusing on guest centricity and brand. And when I say brand, it's not just branding for your guests. It's also branding for your investors and for your partners. If you're thinking of the new age of property managers, they need to convince real estate developers, asset managers, multifamily homeowners to invest in their brand, to partner with their brand. So it becomes even more important. As I mentioned, you should choose the right platform to partner with and to rely on with your tech stack. And then go through the build, buy, partner thesis and decide what to build or integrate on top of it. Of course, focus on key features that help you automate as much as possible and pick the vendors that can help you excel the guest experience. That's all for me. Thank you so much for listening.